Self-directed learning applications in the classroom. Here's a quick overview of what I found on current applications in BC secondary schools. Despite being a pedagogy that has been around for nearly half a century, there is not a widespread application of it in BC secondary schools. There are, however, some local schools that claim self-directed learning as a core part of their curricular and pedagogical framework. Thomas Haney Secondary and A.L. Fortune Secondary are two schools in BC that are a part of a wider coalition of schools spread throughout Canada called the Canadian Coalition of Self-Directed Learning. These two schools, as well as their brother and sister schools spread throughout Alberta and Ontario, advertise self-directed learning as the center point of their entire curriculum. The entire scheduling of a student's high school experience is based around a self-directed process. In these schools, students are given the autonomy to determine the order and pace of their learning, not just in a big picture sense, but down to the hour-to-hour operations of their school days. Teachers operate as advisors and typically have a subject area and home classroom assigned to them. Students looking for instruction, advice, or simply supervision can choose to spend a portion of their day in the room of a given advisor before rotating to another. Students can also camp out in a single advisor's room for weeks at a time as they push to focus more intently on a single subject at a time. Ultimately, each student is responsible for determining the nuances of their schedule. However, I have some critiques about this being true self-directed learning. Where these institutions fall short of true self-directed learning is in the curriculum itself. While options are given for students to propose their own pathways to reach the required learning outcomes, they also have the option of following pre-created curriculum guides. Although these guides will be followed at a pace set by the students, the subject matter and processes within are directed by the curriculum creators. Even though the option of choosing an alternative path is present, the presence of these guides makes it a watered-down version of true self-directed learning, wherein the students should have more autonomy over the process and outcomes. So where does this leave us? These schools are wonderful examples of why self-directed learning is so challenging to implement in a grade school setting. Even institutions that promote self-directed learning as a core pedagogy have to make compromises over how much true autonomy can be expected among their student population. Potential self-directed learning instructors face a challenging truth. Even as adults who have received multiple higher education degrees, managing self-directed learning is a complex and challenging task with distractions and competing priorities all over the place. It is clear that self-directed learning is not something that can be completed within the limited context and time frame of grade school. But is there room for us to at least begin our students on this journey? To hear my final thoughts on how self-directed learning might be integrated into our grade school curriculum, click the link below.